Yeah, this is the Marine Corps Movie Minute, where we part the movie Heartbreak Ridge 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Jack Perry.
And I'm Brian Lockhart.
And thank you guys for joining us again. We're looking forward to bringing you another minute of this fine film. So what do we got this minute so far?
All right, well, today we're doing minute 17. Minute 17 begins with Stitch Jones declares that he is an authority on making music and love. And it ends with Stitch Jones telling Clint Eastwood to be cool because it's going to be a nice day today.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So last minute he said he was an authority on making love, and we didn't find out what the other thing he was an authority on. He said making music.
Yeah.
So I believe he told Clint Eastwood that he is born to screw and bred to sing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't sure he said screw at first. I'm like, what the hell is he saying? And the more I listened to it, I'm like, I think he said he's born to screw, bred to sing.
Yeah.
When he gets on the bus, we talked about this a few minutes ago. He turns the light on. Everybody's sleeping. He turns the light on. He's making all sorts of noise. Tom Highway wakes up and he's annoyed. So now he's been doing all the talking for the last 2 or 3 minutes. and he's annoying as all get out. Tom Highway is totally annoyed with him. And then he's just like, hey, if you don't mind, he calls him TH. And he's telling him, hey, if you don't mind, keep it down. I got to get my beauty sleep. And he turns the light off and he turns his back to him. Clint Eastwood's like, yeah, he goes to sleep. Clint Eastwood looks at him like, motherfucker. I mean, he sighs. Yeah, I mean, like I said, these last few minutes, Clint Eastwood does some awesome face acting because you could tell how annoyed he is. And he literally says the words motherfucker without ever opening his lip.
Yeah.
He is so annoyed with him, and he's just like, "Are you kidding me right now? This guy." So what? Like halfway, almost halfway through the minute, we leave the bus finally, and we, fast forward to the next day, and we're outside a Roadhouse Cafe, called the Halfway House Cafe. What is it? It says something about steak, seafood, beer, and wine. But clearly, it's got to be the morning, and they're having breakfast, having coffee and
from a long night of travel.
So I stole, something you did in previous minutes, and I looked up, is the Halfway House Cafe a real place? And sure enough, it is.
Let me guess, is it in California?
Yes, it is in Santa Clarita, California.
Yeah, this movie had zero travel budget.
Right. Now, do you recall the name of the bar that we saw Stitch Jones?
Oh,
do you remember
the first one? No, I don't remember the name of it.
But do you remember? You looked it up, and I can't remember. Do you remember?
San Clemente.
It was San Clemente. Okay, so it's California.
It's California. Southern, right around the Pendleton, actually, around that area.
Right. It's probably like you said. It's all we know that Camp Pendleton fills in for Camp Lejeune. So yeah, so I looked it up, and there's still a website. It's got a bunch of Google reviews, and it's opens tomorrow at 6 a.m. if you want to go.
Oh, that's awesome.
It says it's an old-timey roadside diner serving hearty breakfast plates, sandwiches, soups, and plus draft beer. So, and they got a picture of it. It looks exactly like it does in the movie.
Oh, that's great.
The only difference is there's newer-looking cars.
You kind of want to make a pilgrimage just to hit all the bars and restaurants in Heartbreak Ridge. Tom Highway said here.
Right. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, people go to the Quicker Stop in RST Video in Jersey when they do this Jay and Silent Bob stuff, and we're gonna do all the Clint Eastwood stops and over around Pendleton.
Yeah, that's great.
They're having breakfast, and of course, Stitch Jones is still talking.
Still, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's talking about something about, groupies are fun, but you got to have your vitamin E.
I guess to keep everything lubed up.
Well, what's funny about that too is because when we met Clint Eastwood, he's talking about all the sex stuff that he's done. With that kid in jail, and now that's all the time. That Mario Van Peebles, Stitch Jones is talking to him about, and of course now he's annoyed.
Yeah.
Although it's funny, they seem to be getting along a lot better. As they're just having breakfast together. It's almost like Clint Eastwood's like, all right, I've just accepted I got this hanger on.
I've got a one of those little fish that swim around sharks and just kind of pick morsels off of them. Yeah, that's what Stitch is, I guess.
Clint Eastwood is probably a mentor to younger people, so he's kind of used to people he feels are idiots. That
Following
he's
them
gonna
around.
right. He's just kind of like, I got to take care of this guy. He's clearly an idiot.
Yeah,
I don't have to
no,
like it, but I'm gonna do it.
yeah,
So we get a shot. So all right, so the waitress comes over. They're and the waitress comes over, and her name is Elizabeth Ruscio. Again, with the names, I'm terrible. But
yeah.
I looked up her IMDb. She's done a ton of TV. She's been a lot of things, and mostly TV.
She kind of looks familiar.
Yeah, you know what? Well, you know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of Simone from Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the outfit more than anything. Well, and the haircut too.
Yeah. What kind of shows were big in the 80s? Magnum PI, I bet she did a guest spot on Magnum or Remington Steel or what was the other one?
Well, that's funny because yeah, her first IMDb is Knots Landing,
There we go.
Saint Elsewhere, Cheers, um, Columbo, a bunch of other TV shows, and L.A. Law, but of course, a bunch I've never even heard of. But she's still working. She had a movie called The Unicorn in 2018. It's not anything I've seen, but she's steady
Are,
work. Doing.
are you sure you haven't seen The Unicorn?
I'm pretty sure. Although I thought it was the Walter Goggins show on CBS when I saw, it. And I was like, oh, she's on that, and I was like, oh, this is it.
Not the same. Not the same.
That's the only reason I know it's a movie because I clicked on it because I thought it was the Walter Goggins one, which I've never seen, but I like Walter Goggins, so
Yeah, yeah, he was cool in Justified.
Yes, he would have fit in good in this movie if it was made. If he was around then, or it was made nowadays, he'd be a good.
You
He'd be
know
a good
what?
fit.
I'm not a big fan of Hollywood remakes, but I actually kind of wouldn't mind a Hollywood remake of this movie.
I don't even know if they need to do a remake per se. They should do the Top Gun route and just have Tom Highway as like an old retired.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, which we already talked about. He basically was Tom Highway.
Yeah.
I say they do another Heartbreak Ridge too. Stitch Jones is asked to come back to Recon Platoon. He's got to be about the same age Clint Eastwood was in this movie.
Yeah.
So now he's back. He's got to get a new, hey, Recon Platoon went to shit again. So now you got to get, one of the, somebody who's like that, who got,
Yeah.
got good or whatever. And
Yeah.
Stitch Jones comes back and he's just, he's doing his thing, but he needs help from an old mentor.
Yeah. His old buddy.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to fucking see him again.
Right.
He's gonna be like Luke in Last Jedi. He's gonna take that rifle and throw it over his shoulder.
Well, there you go. We can insert the scene. Get off my lawn, but
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. But of course, he's a talker, and Clint Eastwood's a softie. He has a soft spot for him, as we find out.
Yeah.
So he lets him in, and now he comes back and he helps get recon. He tells old war stories to the current recon platoon.
Yeah.
I think we should, instead of, let's not remake it. Let's do
just pitch. You just pitch a new version, huh?
Yeah, let's do a sequel remake.
Yeah.
A soft reboot, if you will.
Yeah. Did you notice the back of Stitch's jacket?
Well, it says Stitch on it, doesn't it? Like
that's the front. Did you see what it says on the back? All the little bedazzling he's got.
He does have a lot of bedazzling on that.
Yeah.
I think they're supposed to be studs. What is this? It's got like a CK.
Yeah, so it actually says fuck on the back of his jacket. You see the UCK more, but when you look right there, it's FUCK.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Never noticed that.
Hey man, there's certain things as a Marine that you start to notice very quickly. Cuss words, strip clubs, and Chinese restaurants.
Yeah, right. Yeah, any buffet.
Yeah.
does. So anyway, the wait we see the wait, and she comes up, and she's clearly immediately smitten with Clint Eastwood, and
Yeah.
we get a good look at his chest, like the ribbons,
Yeah.
they kind of pan up real quick.
Yeah.
They don't spend a lot of time. I'm not gonna sit there and try and figure out everything he's got, but they pan up, and he's got
Fruit
a very
salad.
oh yeah, he's got a lot up there.
Yeah.
And she's, of course, she calls him General.
Yeah.
And you notice he's got scars all over his neck.
Yeah. On his
You know, we
forehead. Yeah.
yeah, we've talked about that before, but yeah, it's very noticeable on his neck in one of the shots.
Yeah.
So she's just asking him about she's pouring his coffee. She's kind of stops and asks, oh, that's, what are all those medals? And of course his line is he's being a little flirty. Well, I'll never tell, at least not while the sun's shining. And she kind of gets a kick out of that and walks away. And if you notice, she never fills up Stitch Jones's coffee.
Nope, not even a little bit.
And
Doesn't even ask him.
He literally looks like a sad kid who just like totally like he just looks dejected. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
of course, he immediately is like, that chick is whack.
Yeah, clearly not a fan of his music.
Right. Well, doesn't know who he is, that he's the Ayatollah rock and roller. Clearly not one of the groupies.
No, I don't think so.
I do like that he immediately kind of gets a little, kind of ribs Tom Highway a little bit and says, well, she clearly doesn't know his 12 inches in white. Nothing. Which, of course, Clint Eastwood, not to be, made a total fool of, said, well, I'll tell you what's black and bleeding if it doesn't shut his face.
Yeah.
And he's like, be cool. And that's
be a nice day.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where we get the the end of the minute where he says, look, it's going to be a nice day. Just calm down. Because he even tells him, look, man, I'm just working on my routine. Settle down. Time I was wound a little tight,
So was he a musician or a comedian? Jesus, he's like his routine. Is he gonna tell jokes between songs?
Well, he was when he was in the redneck bar, he started talking shit as soon as he got heckled.
Probably why he has to work on his routines, because his music game's not nearly as strong as he thinks it is.
Clearly. I heard Wednesday, Sunday Sex with a Wednesday Lover, and it wasn't a good song.
No. No. Yeah, not one of his stronger works. It wasn't the Hey Jude of the Stitch Jones catalog.
I will spoil something. There's one, if not maybe two, songs that he does later that are actually quite catchy. Just none of the ones we've seen so far.
No, yeah, none of the ones yet. Well, I think he's probably had more time knowing what those other songs are about. He probably had more time to work on that material.
Yeah, that's true. Or at least you hope so.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have anything else for this minute. It's again, half of the minute's a bus ride still, and the other half we finally get a change of scenery to the diner. But it's still just the two of those guys talking. Of course, we get to meet the waitress, and but it's still mostly the Stitch Jones, Tom Highway buddy, road show. You're right. You know what? Sorry. We got the minute going, and it just from the far shot of them from behind, you can see the F.
Yeah.
And they get away with it, on the film, I think. I mean, obviously they say fuck all the time.
Yeah.
But they don't really show it, and I think it's because his bandana covers it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to see, because when I first saw that earlier on, I was like, what? How many UCK? I'm like, there's only so many words that could be.
Oh yeah, no, it's very obvious.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm making notes. I'm looking at it. I still didn't see it. Anyways, yeah, let's end the minute, and we'll come back next time and hit minute 18.
Right on. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again.
with Stitch. Minute 17 begins with Stitch Jones.
Well said.
Let's fuck it. I'm doing it live. Whoa!
The hell.